All right. Boa tarde a todos e todas, bem-vindos e bem-vindas ao nosso webinar sobre Liberal Arts Colleges. Meu nome é Luiz, eu sou o Advisor do EducationUSA aqui em Anápolis, Goiás, e é uma alegria muito grande receber hoje representantes de 5 universidades, 5 instituições de ensino superior dos Estados Unidos para falar um pouquinho sobre Liberal Arts Colleges and Education aqui nos Estados Unidos. É um prazer recebê-los a todos. Vou mutar aqui o pessoal que está com o microfone aberto. Hoje nós recebemos a Beloit College, a Center College, Gettysburg College, Illinois Wesleyan College e Muhlenberg College, para falar um pouquinho dessa opção, né, que tem para alunos brasileiros, internacionais, poderem estudar nos Estados Unidos. É uma opção muito interessante. Espero que vocês aproveitem bastante a sessão. O EducationUSA é uma rede de escritórios do governo dos Estados Unidos, afiliado ao Departamento de Estado, e a sua fonte oficial de informações sobre ensino superior nos Estados Unidos, tá? Com as informações mais precisas, mais recentes, mais imparciais sobre os estudos nos Estados Unidos. A sessão vai ser em inglês, então eu vou apertar a tecla SAP aqui, começar a falar em inglês agora. Our session is going to be in English. We're very pleased to have representatives from these 5 institutions. And without further ado, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Hola, mi nombre es Taira. I am from Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania, and I am so excited to join you all today.
I'll go ahead and go next. My name is Kate. I represent Illinois Wesleyan University. I'm one of the admissions counselors there, and also very happy to be here and meet you guys.
Good afternoon. My name is Erin Guth. I'm the Director of International and Transfer Admissions at Beloit College. And we're located in Beloit, Wisconsin, so right in the Midwest. I'll pass it to Annie.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Annie Murphy. I am from Center College, which is located in the center of the state of Kentucky. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Marie Fahmy, and I am with Muhlenberg College, which is in Allentown, Pennsylvania, about 90 minutes outside of New York City. So in the northeast part of the US.
So just to kick us off our presentation today, we're going to be talking about liberal arts colleges, but there's actually over 4,000 different colleges and universities in the United States. And this is often a very surprising number for students. Many students often know, maybe 15 institutions sort of at most, or really know them, but there's a lot of different types to choose from. And so we want to talk today about liberal arts colleges. Liberal arts colleges can be found a couple different ways. So within the US, you have public universities, which are typically sort of run by the state that they're in. Private institutions, these can be small schools, these can be large schools, medium schools. Many students have heard of sort of Ivy League institutions. These would be sort of your Harvard and Yale's. But there's also different types of schools within schools. So there are sort of community colleges, which are often state school owned by the state as well, or run by the state. And these are 2-year colleges where students earn associate's degrees. There's also schools out there that are technical schools, so being very focused in a particular area. And then you have liberal arts schools, and that's what you're going to learn about today. About 16% of the 4,000 colleges and universities in the United States are actually liberal arts colleges. So I'm going to pass it off to Anna Marie to talk a little bit about some of the basic terms.
Thank you so much, Erin. Yeah, so as Erin was saying, there are a variety of schools in the United States, and we throw around a lot of terms that I think sometimes we assume people know, and sometimes we're not sure if they know. So we want to unpack what some of these terms mean. These are some terms that you may hear as you're thinking about going through the application process to go to school in the US. So as I was saying, there are private schools and there are public schools. And I think the easiest way to understand the difference for this is kind of boil it down to where are the colleges getting their money from? Like, where is their funding coming from? So generally speaking, private schools are going to be self-funded and autonomous, right? So maybe most of their money is coming from tuition that people are paying to go there, donors, alumni who went to the school previously and donate back to the school. So more of kind of like a self-funded sort of process. On the other hand of things, a public institution may be one that is typically funded by that state's government, right? So let's say it's in California. There are public institutions in California, and most of their money and their funding is coming from the government of California. So long story short, it's private. You can think of it as kind of more self-funded, autonomous. Public is going to be getting their money from the state government. And that all comes down to how the school is operated, how their application process works sometimes, in terms of are they publicly funded or if they're privately funded, and how that affects how that college or university may make their decisions. So I'll go ahead and jump to, okay, well, what's a college and what's a university? So these are two words that we often use interchangeably when we're talking about institutions of higher education in the United States. So to simplify it, college is typically going to be an undergraduate institution. So usually the place where you spend your first 4 years earning a bachelor's degree. Maybe that's a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Science, so on. So you can think of kind of college is going to be like that 4-year place where you get your bachelor's degree. A university will offer both an undergraduate and graduate degrees. And so it can be a little confusing because a university is usually made up of a lot of different colleges, right? So a university can have a college that gives out bachelor's degree, but that university could also have a medical school that gives out that degree, a business school that gives out the Master's of Business Administration degree, the MBA. So usually when you're thinking about your first step into college or going to school in the US, you're going to be thinking about your bachelor degree journey first, and that may be at a college that's on its own, or that may be at a college that's inside of a university. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. And then a couple other things with terms we like to use: small schools. I believe all of us on here represent small schools. Usually these are small, meaning under 5,000 undergraduate students. And the idea behind a school being small in the United States is really to be, it's intentional. So that way the focus is on you as a student. Professors know who you are. They are teaching your classes. You get to really know the other members of your community. It's a very tight-knit, small community where you get to know the other people there, the professors, students, and so on. And the last thing I want to describe too are, we often talk about research university versus liberal arts colleges. And so in this presentation today, we're talking about why would you look at a liberal arts college, or the benefits of going to a liberal arts college. And liberal arts colleges tend to be small, as I described small. Liberal arts colleges also tend to be private, as I described private, and that they're colleges, right? They usually offer that 4-year degree, as opposed to a research university, which generally speaking may be larger and focus more on just bigger class sizes, 30,000 people versus 3,000 people. So today we're going to focus on, generally speaking, small, private liberal arts college. I think that was that's it.
That was great. Thank you so much. So I want to really hone in on this idea of a liberal arts college. Aaron mentioned that 16% of the colleges in the United States can be described as being a liberal arts college. So what does that actually mean? Because the terms themselves can sometimes be a bit confusing. So if we look at the origin, I love looking at the history of words. And if you look at the origin for the word liberal, it comes from a Latin word that means openness and freedom. And that really is what is happening at a liberal arts college, that is the kind of institution that is really valuing freedom in the curriculum, some openness. We tend to emphasize student choice. Also, a term we need to talk about is the word arts. So if we talk about a liberal arts college, we think about arts being drawing and painting and dance and various art forms. When used in this context, the term arts really means areas of mastery. So that's what a liberal arts college is about. It's about a place where you have lots of freedom and choice amongst various areas of study. It's always going to include liberal arts and sciences. Our institutions tend to be very strong in the natural sciences. And so always you can think about liberal arts and sciences, those two combined. Liberal arts colleges have a long history in the United States. They're not necessarily unique to the United States, but I think that they tend to be most common, and they are really a feature of US higher education that I think we do really well. You've probably heard of the first ever liberal arts college in the United States, Harvard. Most people have heard of that if you're thinking about college in the US. That is the tradition that our colleges are all coming from. Again, this idea of preparing you to be not good at just one job for the rest of your life. Higher education is about expanding who you are. It's about giving you a really important multifaceted skill set, and of course, an incredible knowledge base in your area of study. We're going to get a little bit more into the features of the actual academics at a liberal arts college in our next slide.
Yes, so as Annie mentioned, it is all about that openness and freedom, and that freedom in your academics is so fantastic. So when you're applying to a liberal arts college, you're not applying into a specific program, right? Once you apply into the college, pretty much all of the majors and academic programs are fair game for you. So you have 2 years to explore all of our programs. You can network with alumni and see if certain careers are a good fit for you. You can explore programs you've never heard of before and some that you might be a little bit interested in. It is absolutely challenging to know what you want to do right at this time in your life, which is great because you have flexibility to start to find out what you're interested in, but you don't need to know right now. And that is also speaking towards your requirements outside of your major. So you might come in thinking you absolutely know something, but all of our students will be taking something in the natural sciences, the arts, humanities, and social sciences. And for some students, that might just become a minor or a second major or their primary major, depending on the classes that you take. But you get to explore the depth of your major and the breadth of all these other academic areas. A lot of the jobs that you are going to be applying to don't even exist yet, right? So as Annie mentioned, you're going to be prepping for things for a long career after you graduate from one of our institutions. And also emphasizing what Annie said about that skill set and setting our students up for that lifetime of career success. It's not just about that first job after graduation. So at our institutions, you're focusing on building communication skills, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and of course, being a global citizen and working with a diverse group of people. All of these things that you will be getting from our institutions are what employers are seeking, okay? And not only can you have the opportunity to explore those, but like I said, you can double major, you can major minor, you can do things with biology and chemistry, or you can do business and Spanish, right? You can build your curriculum around whatever your career goals and personal interests are. Speaking of building curriculum, we also do have a self-designed, individualized major. So you can have a very specialized career interest in mind, and you can work with your advisor to create your own major if that's something you're interested in. So pulling from a couple different disciplines into one major, and there you go, you graduate with that major. Then you also do have your high impact core curricular programs as well as career prep. So at a liberal arts school, you have all of these courses that integrate preparing you for your career. So that includes bringing alumni into the classrooms, having some opportunities for research, requiring internships. It all depends, but that is already integrated into your classes as far as your academics go, as well as being able to do all of these high impact co-curricular programs that help not only your resume, but to build you as a person. So some of those are like your leadership centers and your community service center. all of that together gives you such a fantastic experience at a liberal arts school, where you have that academic flexibility to really enjoy your experience at a school.
All right, so I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about difference between the liberal arts colleges and big research universities, like we mentioned before. So my favorite point is that there's no second application to your intended major program. So what that means is sometimes when applying to a big research school, let's say for a nursing program, you will have to apply for a school separately, just in general, completing general application, and then also you have to apply for nursing. So what's great about liberal arts colleges is that you don't have to submit that second application, and you can apply directly and go directly into nursing. That saves you time, that makes the process easier. I know that definitely saves you some time as well. So I think that is a great advantage of liberal arts colleges. And then also, like it has been mentioned before, liberal arts colleges will really provide you a much smaller classroom size. So you will not be sitting in a lecture hall. You will probably be in a class with 10 to 15, 16 other students. And that really provides for really great academics. Students are typically more comfortable in that setting, especially if you are more, on the introverted side, you maybe don't like to speak up in class, or that's something that you're not used to. I feel like that smaller classroom size can really prep you and make you comfortable to express yourself, to express your opinion, to raise your hand, be active in classroom. And then finally, there are always more research opportunities to undergraduate students. Usually research is something that you would do on the graduate level. In most cases, in the US, when applying to grad school after your bachelor's degree, research is something that you will be doing on the master's level. And that's a good thing about liberal arts colleges, that most of them will also teach you and they prep you for that research, and they give you opportunities to also work on special research projects with your faculty members. So that is an awesome prep that you can, put on your resume that makes you stand out when you decide to go on and either apply for grad school or go directly into your career field. That's something that gives you really good advantage. And that's something that is unique to liberal arts colleges as well. Next slide, please. All right, so like I mentioned before, typically you will not find lecture halls or really big classroom sizes in liberal arts schools. So here you can see in the picture, this girl is being so bored because she needs to listen to a lecture with 120 other students or so. So that is really common for your freshman year in a national university, to be in a lecture hall, because it's mostly going to be about listening to your professors. But then, like I mentioned before, the class sizes at a liberal arts school probably going to be about 10 to 16, maybe 17 students. So those classes are more discussion based, and there is really no lecturing. It's mostly an open conversation. Sometimes, like you can see in the slide, sometimes your professors will decide to do a lesson outside of the classroom. So they'll take you, I don't know, into the field. Sometimes they'll take you, if it's a lab, it'll be not necessarily in the classroom, but at the lab facility. It can be outside. I know the school that I represent, Wesleyan, sometimes when it's nice outside, professors will take their class outside and they'll be just sitting on the quad, on the grass, and doing their learning that way. If it's something that has to do with computers, their national information system, that's going to be obviously in a lab room and a computer room. So it's all about hands-on learning. It's all about learning by experiencing things. It's not just listening to lectures. It's more so expressing your opinion, because we're trying to give you that comprehensive education, teach you some critical thinking skills. So it's really important for you to learn how to participate in discussions like that. All right.
Thanks, Kate. So the power of a liberal arts college degree today. We've talked a lot about the academic flexibility, the ability to build different skill sets, the small environment where it really allows you to maybe sort of push yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone. But these are some things that we really like to talk about. There's a lot of benefits to that liberal arts college education. And you can see that from some of these statistics. So we pulled some statistics from the 2019 Job Outlook survey. And this is a survey that's really built around sort of what hiring personnel is actually looking for in their candidates. So you can see from here, 82% of the employers polled were seeking students with strong writing communication skills. These are things that you're going to be doing at a liberal arts college. Many of our, probably all of our institutions really are not very test centric, that you're going to be doing a lot more sort of research papers, group projects, oral presentations, really actually just sort of developing those writing communication skills throughout your entire four-year experience. About 81% of employers are looking for students with good problem-solving skills, that small classroom environment, that take on kind of working within teams, are going to be part of how you go about building those skill sets on our campuses. About 79% of employers are looking for those employees who can work well in a team, both sort of take on leadership opportunities within a team, but also just know how to be a team player and how to contribute. About 72% of employers are looking for employees with good analytical and quantitative skill sets, that style of education where you're going to be doing a little bit more of your own research, where you're going to be analyzing the work that you do in a liberal arts college, and within sort of the idea of interdisciplinary learning is going to prepare you for a strong skill set with analytical and quantitative skills. And about 68% of employers are looking for employees with great verbal communication skills. This is something you're going to be doing both in that small classroom where you're, speaking up and talking about the subjects that you're learning and not just sort of listening to a lecture. But you're also going to be doing presentations and those group project presentations that are really going to help you continue to build that verbal communication skill set. Within a liberal arts college, that liberal arts sort of degree, graduates tend to out-earn those with a professional degree in those fields during sort of that midpoint in their life. And so I think that's what's exciting is building these skill sets along with being able to study the interests and things that you want is what's really important about making you a successful candidate for a job beyond your bachelor's degree, but just a great person in general. So now we're going to go into talking a little bit about our institutions so you can hear directly from us of what makes our liberal arts colleges special. So I represent Beloit College. As I mentioned, we're located in the Midwestern United States. We're about an hour and a half northwest of Chicago, but centrally located within an hour and a half of three major metropolitan Midwest cities, Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Chicago. We're a school of just over 1,200 students, but our students represent the entire world. We have over 40 different countries, almost every US state represented, and about 16% of our campus community now is made up of students coming from outside of the United States. So at Beloit, we really want an education to speak to that internationalism, to learn from that global perspective, no matter what degree or field you're studying. At Beloit, being a small school, our average class size tends to be about 15 to 17 students. So you're really going to get to know the students in your classroom, know your professors, and they really get to know you and want to support you through everything that you do. At all of our institutions, you're going to see strong performances beyond sort of graduation. So 94% of our students are employed or headed off to grad school within 6 6 months of graduation. So our students are well prepared academically for their career focus, whether that's going straight into the workforce or looking to gain further education to prepare for the workforce. Beloit has been recognized as being one of the top sort of innovative liberal arts colleges in the country. And a lot of this is due to some of our advising and mentorship programs that we've developed. So over a 4-year experience at Beloit, students are going to have advisors that are really sort of making sure that you're staying on track and maybe pushing you a little bit outside of your comfort zone to study different things, to take on internship and research opportunities, really to take your education and practice that education while you're still studying. At Beloit, we have over 40 different programs to choose from, and it's pretty common for our students to do things like double major, major, double minor, so really pursue passions. We often say that at Beloit, it's a very student-driven institution and faculty guided and mentored throughout the process. So every student who attends Beloit has a very different experience than their peers. We offer really great scholarship and financial aid opportunities and are really looking for students who want to have a very active college education. And with that, it's just a little bit about us, but I'm going to pass it off to my colleague at Center.
Thank you, Erin. Great. Well, I'm excited to talk with you this afternoon about Center College. So Center is located, I mentioned earlier, in the center of the state of Kentucky. Center College has been around for over 200 years. We have a long history of serving students in our part of the country. We serve students from all over the country, of course, all over the world as well. But we are located in the southern region of the United States, although I do think culturally we have some Midwest tendencies as well, but that is a bit about our location. We're located in a small city. It's called Danville, Kentucky. And our situation is that we're located within short walking distance to all the things that you can find in downtown Danville, including restaurants, shops, cafes, local library and bookstore, all kinds of great things that are very easy for you to get to. There is a lot of ease on our campus. It is, I think, a place for an international student to come. You're going to feel very connected to a strong sense of community. I think our students really look out for each other. They support each other. It's a place for students who are excited to ask big questions and to be engaged in the classroom. We are 1,400 students. Amongst those students, about 6 to 7% of our students are international, and they do come from all over the world as well. Center does have a global focus on our campus. We have for decades been focusing on providing really top-notch study abroad programs for our students. We really think that your undergraduate education should give you lots of opportunities. It should give you the opportunity to really have some important, impactful experiences. So we focus on study abroad, even for international students. Of course, if you are coming from Brazil to the United States to pursue your education here, that means you are you're looking for some adventure. You're brave, you're excited to go explore the world. You might even get to explore in a third country or a fourth country as well at Center College. And that rolls into this idea that we have. I mentioned it's all about having important, impactful experiences. And so at Center, we guarantee a study abroad experience. We also guarantee an internship. We also guarantee that you will come and you'll have this incredibly meaningful education, and you'll complete it on time in 4 years. You can see a photo there of some students doing research. We mentioned that as a liberal arts college, we love giving undergraduate students some of the opportunities that you might not get until you were a graduate student at other schools. And here are some students doing research on our local stream system. They're doing ecology and biology research there. You can see them checking out that little fish there in our local stream. We can move on to the next slide. All right, great. So here is a list of majors and minors. So we have over 40 things that you can study at Center College. We are all about, again, providing that freedomness and that openness, that freedom and that openness in the curriculum that you would expect from a top-notch liberal arts college. About 25% of our students will choose to double major. Most common is for a student to have a major and a minor and perhaps an additional area of concentration. You can take a look at some of the outcomes that our students have earned over the last several years. Again, I think that is one of the ways that a really incredible liberal arts education can be transformative for a student, is that we are also able to provide you with very customized advice and guidance. And I think particularly as an international student, this can really be very important. So you can take a look, 97% of our students are in graduate schools or in wonderful professions as soon as they graduate. There's a list of graduate schools that our students are currently attending listed on this slide. Center is all about also providing access. So we are excited to be a school that is test optional for international students. You do have to show proof of English proficiency, but you do not have to send us your SAT score. We also love providing merit scholarships. In our experience, international students, you guys have worked very hard. You have mastered your at least a couple of languages. You have been very focused on pursuing your higher education, and many of our international students will end up with a merit scholarship. In addition, we also provide financial aid for students, and in addition, Center has 2 scholarship programs for international students that provide full funding. So tuition, housing, all of your fees included in that. You can check out more information on our website. And thank you so much.
Hello again, everyone. I am Tyra from Gettysburg College, one of our senior assistant directors here, and we'll just talk a little bit about Gettysburg. So we are located in the world famous Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So people come from all over to visit, and that's definitely such a fantastic environment for our students to be around. We have around a 200-acre campus with about 2,600 students, which is actually on the larger side when we're talking about liberal arts colleges. And our students are really coming from all over the place. So, over 40 states, 40 countries. This last class for our international students was one of our bigger ones, which was so exciting, but definitely a fantastic environment to be in. And so when you get to campus, like, what's around, what's happening, let's talk about that. So your classes, you have on average, an average class size of 17, they are capped around 35. You'll never be in huge lecture halls. Again, a hallmark of a fantastic liberal arts college. We have a 9-to-1 student faculty ratio, again, meaning your professors know who you are. And at Gettysburg, yes, they will sit outside for class. They'll know your whole lives, your whole story. They frequently open up their homes, especially if it's a shorter break and you're not going back home. They'll be there, and they will absolutely be available and there for students if you want that, which again, beauty of the liberal arts. We do have a study abroad program here at Gettysburg, and we were actually, the rankings just came out, we're #1 in the state of Pennsylvania and #3 in the nation. So we do really encourage our students to become global citizens. We don't just shape the class of who's on campus and say, okay, we want to have everyone here. No, we want you to also get out of your bubble and to go learn something else, go be somewhere else, go check out something else. And we definitely push our students to do that, no matter the major or the minor that you have. As well as, so that's academics, but as well as your social life, there is a ton to do. You will never, ever be bored on campus. We are a residential campus. Over 90% of our students choose to live on campus. Living off campus is for seniors. And all of our students are on our meal plan as well, because we are always ranked top 10 for our dining hall food. So our dining hall does a great job to, give students as much options as possible and meet any dietary restrictions, religious restrictions, all of that. But you are enjoying yourself on campus. your time at a liberal arts institution isn't just all of the research that you're going to be doing in the papers and things like that, because there are a ton of research opportunities at Gettysburg, but you also do have the clubs and activities, your international student services, Burst, all of these different opportunities. Next slide. Jumping right in, so you can see our majors and minors here as well, but just to name a couple for you, business is definitely a big one on campus, economics as well as mathematical economics, and we do have that STEM part to economics that is helpful. We do also have computer science, the international and global studies major, political science is also really popular for Gettysburg, and then of course, you know, biology, health sciences, and those classes. But like I said, your time at Gettysburg is going to be a combination of your academics and doing fantastic things there. Some of our students have even published and definitely present at conferences with professors, but then also having a great time in addition to your academics, which is important as well. Okay, last couple things I'll leave you with is that we do have the International Gettysburgians Network. The International Gettysburgians Network is made up of alums, international alums who come back and say, yes, I will absolutely be a mentor for our international students on campus. And then you'll see on the slide here, you'll see just some of the things that we have for the applying, as well as scholarships and financial aid. I do want to point out that we do have merit scholarships available, and that Eisenhower Scholarship is a separate application on our website, but you are absolutely welcome and able to submit that. And then your financial aid forms are going to be right there in your portal. Okay, so you don't have to even worry. You're going to apply, and then your portal, you'll have access to it, and it'll be right there. So everything's all in one. But I'm there and available if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, you guys. I am here to talk to you a little bit about Illinois Wesleyan University. And I know I did see a couple questions in the chat. We will answer them after our presentation. But just to kind of hit general points, yes, most students do live on campus, especially in liberal arts school setting. And then when it comes to Duolingo and specific tests, you will have to check with every school's requirement. But I just saw on the Gettysburg slides that they do accept that. Wesleyan accepts that as well. I think most schools do. And then the vaccination and COVID questions are also very much school specific. All right, so to talk to you guys about Illinois Wesleyan, we are located 2 hours away from Chicago, so in the middle of the state of Illinois. We are really just in the middle of the Midwest, which makes us a really good point for traveling, for going different places. Like I said, there's 2 hours of travel to go to Chicago. Same thing with St. Louis and Indianapolis. We have a pretty good infrastructure in our town. So the town is called Bloomington Normal. We have about 200,000 residents in our town. So I would say it is a bigger town, but you would have the advantage of the smaller class sizes and smaller liberal arts school experience while being in a great social hub, great place to do things socially and learn about American culture, learning about traditions, meet new people, and kind of develop those connections at networks while you're here. Our total student population is about 1,700, so we're definitely smaller. When it comes to student faculty ratio, it's going to be about 11-1. So really individualized attention from professors. They will know you, you will know them, you will establish a really good relationship with them that will hopefully provide for really good education. And then the class size is very similar to what was mentioned before, about 15 to 17 students in class. Student research is super popular at Illinois Wesleyan. About 2/3 of our students participate in student research, get published, go to conferences, and do some amazing discoveries and projects. And you're welcome to be part of that as well. Our success rates are something that we're really proud of. 96% of our students are either employed or in grad school within 6 months after graduation. Something unique that we have here in Wesleyan is our academic calendar. So we actually have one extra semester, which is a month of May. We call it May term. During the month of May, you're able to take another academic credit, or you're able to go study abroad, or do really anything that you need for your extra requirements that you need to fulfill. Let's say you have a double major, so you can focus on your second major, or if you have a minor, you can take classes for the minor. So usually students enjoy the May term that really allows them to do more within the 4 years they're here. We have lots of student clubs. You guys will be living on campus here for 3 years. I know there was a question about that before. We have over 60 international students here right now. And I'm really hoping that next year that number is going to be bigger. I know right now we're reviewing applications and there's so many great students. So I'm very hopeful for the next year. And then next slide, please. All right, so over 80 academic programs, so really a lot to choose from. Some of our popular ones, just to highlight for you guys, are nursing. We have a phenomenal nursing program with a 100% employment rate after graduation. We have multiple pre-engineering path and pre-professional path that you can explore with us as well. We have wonderful School of Business, also super popular, international studies, psychology, I'm trying to think what else, political science, all the liberal arts schools are super popular here as majors. And then when it comes to our School of Theater is actually something that we are also really proud of. Our fine arts are super strong here at Wesleyan. They have 4-to-1 student faculty ratio. That means that our theater and fine arts majors really get individualized attention and basically private coaching when it comes to acting and vocals and things like that. So that is also one of our awesome programs that you can be part of. And then you can see here our requirements in terms of admissions, all our language proficiency scores. This year we are test optional, so you don't have to take SATs or SATs to apply. In terms of finances and financial aid, we have merit-based scholarship that everybody is qualified for automatically at the time of your application. We usually sponsor about 50% of our students' expenses when it comes to tuition. That number can go up depending on your academics and your application overall. And we also do have 2 presidential scholarships for international students that are full tuition, so you wouldn't have to pay tuition at all. And then we accept CSS profile if you're applying for financial aid. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions specifically for me about Wesleyan, I'll be happy to connect with you and help you out with the application.
Alrighty, hello everyone. I think I am the last presenter, so thank you so much for listening to everything we've talked about in terms of liberal arts and the other colleges here today. And so now I'm going to talk about Muhlenberg College. So again, my name is Anna Marie Fahmy, and I'm with Muhlenberg. We are a small private liberal arts college located in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is the 3rd largest city in Pennsylvania and also the fastest growing. In terms of where we are in the state of Pennsylvania, we're about 90 minutes from New York City and about 60 minutes from Philadelphia. We are pretty easy to get to from a distance. We're close to a few major airports nearby the major cities that are surrounding us. We are primarily residential campus. So about 91% of our students live on campus for all 4 years. Housing is guaranteed. And I think also Gettysburg was chatting about food earlier, so I'm going to talk about food too. We're consistently ranked in the top 20 for best college food in the country. So there must be something good about Pennsylvania and college food. So just in terms of options, variety, quality of food, things like that, we want to make sure that we're taking care of you academically, but also just nourishing your mental and physical health as well. And we're a small school, like we've talked about the benefits of a small college on this presentation already. We're just under 2,000 students. We have small class sizes, small student to faculty ratio. So again, everything we've talked about with really having the attention and the focus be on you, you'll find that at Muhlenberg. And then if you could go ahead and move on to the next slide, I want to talk a little bit about academics. So we're really big on integrative learning, as I know my colleagues have talked about here as well. About 30% of our students double major. That could be in, let's say, a double major in theater and business. Even though those two may not sound related, at Muhlenberg, students like to cross the disciplines and find how their interests can intersect. How can I learn more about theater from a business perspective and vice versa? Dance and biology is also a common combination. We're known for our strength in the visual and performing arts, particularly within theater. We put on 6 main stage theater productions each year, 3 to 5 dance concerts, and that's in addition to 20 to 40 student-directed productions. So great place for the arts. We do have musical theater in our theater program, aerial acrobatics in our dance program. Our art programs do not require auditions for admissions, and even if you're not a major in those majors, you can still participate in them. Outside of the arts, we're known for the sciences, particularly the healthcare. Healthcare is one of the largest industries in the part of Pennsylvania that we're in. Over 2,300 Muhlenberg alumni work in the medical and healthcare professions. Business is another popular major at Muhlenberg. Every business major pursues a concentration in either management and organization studies, marketing, arts administration, or international business. Other popular majors at Muhlenberg include computer science, public health, sustainability studies, that's actually our newest major at Muhlenberg, really strong politics department, and also film. And with our film studies department, and with our media and communication department, and with our documentary story making program, that leaves us with 16 full-time professors, and that makes us the largest liberal arts film and media programs in the United States. So great place for film too. Even though we're a small school, we want to make sure you have the resources of a big school. And there are also several academic partnerships that students could take advantage of. You can see those in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Like we talked about earlier, Muhlenberg is a college, and so we're focused on your first 4 years and leading you to that bachelor's degree. But we also want to make sure that you're prepared for graduate school if you want to go off and do a master's in public health or go off to law school or some other graduate programs. And so these are some partnerships that we have with larger universities for those programs. This is not just a list of where everyone is going to graduate school after Muhlenberg. We have students who are going to University of Southern California, USC, Yale. So the list is much broader too in terms of where students are going after. And lastly, I want to talk about just how we do a little bit of our admissions process. I know we'll talk about that at the end too. We do perform a holistic review of your application. International students may apply test optional. Muhlenberg as a whole has been test optional since 1996. For our international applicants, if they do apply test optional, we do require an admissions interview with either a member of our staff, someone like me, or with the company called Initial View. So I will go ahead and stop there. I know we want to leave time for questions, and I'm happy to answer anything about Muhlenberg. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for the amazing presentation. I think that we have very valuable information all of you shared. And I know that some of you have already addressed some of the questions that were in the chat, but I wanted to give everyone opportunity. Maybe the question just popped up in the chat after you guys spoke. So does anyone want to address the question about Duolingo and English requirement in general?
Sure, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that all of our institutions accept Duolingo. Do you guys want to, yeah, thumbs up? Great. We love Duolingo. It's easy for you to take. It's online. It's much more affordable than some of the other options. So yes, Duolingo all the way. That's great.
Nice. Another question that we have here in the chat box was about living on campus. I think that all students live on campus. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. And I would just kind of throw in addition that living on campus is often one of I think the best features of a smaller school or a liberal arts college. I know all of our institutions really value that on-campus experience. It gives you access to all the resources that you will need. It also means that things are very accessible for you. I think particularly as an international student, that can provide some reassurance for you that, I'm going to live on campus, everything will be easy. Your accommodations will be very nice, your meals all taken care of. It also means that all of your social life is very easy. You're participating in things like, guest speakers or optional, study sessions, or going to see your friend perform in her play. You can see all of those things are usually within about 10 minutes of your room on our campuses, which is quite nice.
Great. Okay, so before we move on to the next question that we have here in the chat, I have a question myself. So I think that all of you mentioned having a very diverse international student population on campus. So my question is, do you have any Brazilian students on campus, and how's the Brazilian community over there?
I can start at Beloit. We have 3 Brazilian students on our campus right now, actually all of which started this fall, which we were thrilled about because sort of up to the very last minute, we weren't sure if we were going to get all 3 on our campus, but glad that things were able to open up and they were able to get visa appointments and make it, and they are having an absolute blast so far. So look forward to having more Brazilian students on our campus soon.
I can also jump in. I'm excited to have more Brazilian students on campus, but we do have a couple. And I'm actually in the process of trying to see if Laura wants, she's a Brazilian student. I'm trying to see if she wants to do some presentations with us. So, you know, trying to make it a little something, but we do have her and some other students on campus.
Muhlenberg, we have a diverse student population, a diverse international student population. I'm not sure about Brazilian students. I'm covering for our colleague today, but I know that, yeah, again, diverse student population in terms of countries represented and international student support, all that.
And I know we have at least one. We graduated a student last year who was amazing. And our current student actually worked very closely with Education USA based in Brazil. So yes.
Yeah, and then at Illinois Wesleyan, we have a couple, and I'm working with multiple right now, really hoping to bring them in next year. I want to say I'm probably working with about 10 Brazilian students. So I'm super excited. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, and I know I said here that questions can be brought to us on the chat box, but maybe we don't have a very large audience this far along in our presentation. So maybe if anyone wants to, just open up their cameras and mics, they're welcome to do that. But moving on our list of questions here, Hayes is asking if the classes are 100% in person after COVID. I think it's a stretch to say that COVID is over. I think that we're still in the middle of it, but how vaccination requirements going on? I'm pretty sure that all of you require vaccinations, right?
Yeah. So I can start off with at least Beloit. So we did require that all of our students be vaccinated to return to campus this fall, but our classes are 100% in person. So we recognize COVID is still going on. We do have mask requirements in classroom, but everybody is in person, and just so happy to be back in that experience, and things are going really well on our campus this fall.
I second that. It's so fantastic having the students back on campus and having their energy around. I love it so much. We are 100% back in person, and also we did require vaccinations. And for that small population who is, who has medical reasons or stuff, we do weekly testing as well for them.
And same here, same for Center College. Yeah, I think that was a benefit for honestly, some of the smaller US campuses, smaller schools. We talked about big versus small. I think we were able to be pretty adaptable and pretty flexible during the height of the pandemic, and continuing where we are, of course, now dealing with COVID as well.
Yeah, we were able to have some students on campus last year, but yes, everyone is back on campus this year. Classes are 100% in person, and we did require vaccinations against COVID for our students coming back.
Yeah, same for us at Wesleyan. Classes are 100% in person. And then when it comes to vaccinations, what we do is we require you to test if you choose not to vaccinate, or if you have medical reasons or things like that. You just need to participate in our monitor testing that takes place, I believe, bi-weekly or so. But other than that, yeah, it's it's up to you. We just make sure that everybody's safe and masks are required as well.
Fantastic. Another question that we have here, if admissions requirements are the same in liberal arts colleges and the universities. So what do you guys say? I think that you can kind of walk them through the application process, what kind of documents or tasks they would need to submit.
I can, oh, great. I can jump on in. The pieces for the most part are a little bit the same. So it's how you're going to apply to the school. A lot of us are common application schools, so there you go. Then, of course, you have transcripts. So how have you been doing in high school? How has that been going for you? We want to know everything. We don't just look at the grades and move on. Then, of course, you have recommendations from a counselor, from a teacher. Those are a piece of that. You also do have testing, though many of our schools are test optional. So that piece may or may not be a part of your application, depending. And you, of course, also have the personal statement that you submit to the school. Some liberal arts colleges have supplements, not all of them do. So you want to make sure you're looking at schools. So that'll be an extra writing portion that might be in addition to that personal statement. And then, of course, you have the financial aid forms. Usually it would be the certification of finances and that international student financial aid application, but that has changed this year. So again, double check with each school, but you will have an international student financial aid application per school. So you have your regular pieces for the application and then the other two pieces or so for the financial aid piece. But you guys jump in if I missed something.
I think that it goes a little bit back to something we talked about in the presentation too, sort of that liberal arts college versus university, and thinking about your majors or areas of interest where, you know, if you go through that application process at any of our institutions, whatever you want to study, you're going to be able to sort of study. Where if you're applying to a university, you may have all those same sort of application requirements to complete, but you may start there and start doing sort of general education requirement courses and may need to then apply to get into the particular college at that university to study a specific area. So whether that's something like engineering or nursing or education, you may have sort of an additional application process later on that you would do, or some universities may provide sort of a direct entry early on that you can apply for that would have a separate application process to it. But you're not, I don't think at any of our institutions going to have that sort of extra step. It's just the sort of main application process. And then once you're in, you get to choose exactly what it is that you want to study.
Yeah, and everyone, you can always count on EducationUSA in helping you during the application process. That's what we do. We want to make sure that Brazilian students who want to study in the United States have access to that. So EducationUSA can really help you out during the whole application process. It is 5 o'clock now, and I think that our session has come to an end. I just want to thank everyone so much for joining us. You'll see their contact information, their emails here on the slides. So make sure that you get in touch in case you need to, clear any doubts or ask any questions. It was fantastic to have you all. And just before we go, I just want to open up to you guys if you have any final remarks, any farewells you want to share. And thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having us and for arranging this. Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Muito bem, pessoal. Muito obrigado a todos e todas que participaram da nossa sessão de hoje. Fica gravado, né? Vocês que nos acompanham também pelo YouTube, do canal do YouTube do EducationUSA. Fica aí o nosso abraço e nós nos encontramos nas próximas sessões. Tchau, tchau.